Let's start with the latest developments from Pakistan. Prime Minister Imran Khan will continue as Prime Minister, at least for the time being. Pakistan President Arif Alvi has said that Khan will remain Prime Minister till the appointment of a caretaker Prime Minister under Article 224A of the Pakistan Constitution. In a letter, President Alvi has now asked Prime Minister Imran Khan and leader of the opposition, Shehbaz Sharif, to jointly agree on appointment of a caretaker Prime Minister. And if the two fail to do so within 3 days of the dissolution of the Pakistan National Assembly, then the matter goes to a special committee of 8 members who will be chosen by the Prime Minister and leader of the opposition under Article 224A of the Constitution. This comes after Imran Khan was denotified as the Prime Minister of Pakistan. A statement was issued in this regard from the country's cabinet division after the dissolution of the National Assembly. We are now being joined by Gul Bukhari, an analyst from London. For more on this, Mr. Bukhari, welcome to WION.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
I beg your pardon, it's Mrs. Bukhari. Thank you very much for joining us.
No, it's Ms. Bukhari.
Okay.
It is Ms. Bukhari.
All right. Now, Pakistan's Supreme Court is expected to decide the fate of embattled Prime Minister Imran Khan following a day of political turmoil. What is your assessment of the events that unfolded in Pakistan yesterday?
I think it's very evident that we're in the middle of a constitutional crisis. The constitution was violated by 3 persons. One was the man sitting in the chair of the speaker, the other was the prime minister, and then eventually by the president of the country. And I think we are seeing, probably in living memory at least, that in Pakistan it is civilians who have violated the constitution instead of the armed forces, which are usually wont to do. So the situation is very, very dire. I think not only did we not have a government or a parliament all day yesterday, but after the cabinet division denotified the prime minister, the country had no prime minister either. So what you see before you is that for the sake of ego, for the sake of not facing a no confidence vote, Imran Khan plunged the entire country into a crisis and has sent relations with the United States rock bottom by accusing the country of a conspiracy to overthrow his government.
Ms. Bukhari,
it's a terrible situation.
Let's talk about that. What does it mean when a prime minister is denotified? Does his role and responsibility change in any way? How does he function going forward?
What happened after the denotification, indeed, was that the president invoked a certain article of the Constitution and notified him again. So at this point, the position that I think he doesn't have a leg to stand on, to be honest. The position he is taking is that he is still the prime minister, and the president is still the president, but there is no government, there is no parliament, and there is no government. And it's quite a farce that after having dissolved parliament, so to speak, which he did not have the authority to do, he has sent names to what he now names as the opposition leader. If there is no parliament, how can there be an opposition leader? So it's really a farcical situation, and farcical things that this former government is carrying on doing, and they're carrying on as if nothing has happened, that everything is fine. It's an absolute crisis.
Right. Now, the Prime Minister claims his criticism of US policy and other foreign policy decisions has led to an attempt by the US to remove him from power. What do you make of Khan's allegations?
There's not a shred of evidence. None whatsoever. This cable, so-called cable, was put before the National Security Council, and the National Security Council did not conclude from it that there was a threat in it or an attempt to subvert or overthrow this government. It is absolute lies. Everybody needs to see this for what it is. Basically, his old narratives, which were Naya Pakistan, which was, how many million, 10 million houses and 50 lakh jobs and one Pakistan, not two Pakistans, all of that has been defeated. He has absolutely failed at achieving a single agenda item from his manifesto or from his claims. So to give himself a new life, and this is what he and his former ministers are crowing about, that they've put life back into the party because they're being seen as nationalist, and the opposition is being seen as cowardly and kowtowing to the US. It's building up of a narrative to give or breathe life back into a party which was pretty much over, because when you saw what you saw during the last 1 month is that a huge number of his party people moved to the other side. Nobody wants a ticket from PTI for the next election. Right. The coalition partners left him. It's a toxic brand. So it's an attempt to rebrand itself.
Finally, the Prime Minister's popularity has been severely dented by the rising cost of living in Pakistan, although he still has a sizable following. Now that the focus is on the elections, if they do happen, what are his chances?
Yes, I think we should put aside the question of if they do happen, will they happen, how they will happen. The point here is that the opposition needs to focus not on the elections, but on the violation of the constitution. So the PTIs is attempting to focus everyone on an election that is coming, that is going to be entirely unconstitutional. I think the matter of the constitution has to be resolved first. But then if we take your question, you say, if you were asking how well the PTI will fare, it's quite easy for me to say at least that it is not expected to fare very well if you go by the fact that nearly 200 members of the parliament have voted against him, and all of these people have hundreds of thousands of voters behind them. So you can assess his popularity even from that. People don't want the PTI's ticket. It's going to be very hard for them. This whole drama is an attempt to try and do better in the elections and try and call elections on their own terms, have a caretaker government on their own terms, have the machinery of the state to hand. And that is because they expect a walloping at the elections.
I have been talking to an analyst. Her name is Gul Bukhari. Thank you very much for making time and for talking to WION today.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.